Indiana Convention Center. Have you ever been to the Indiana Convention Center?
Of course I have.
Keeping in line with the predictions here, because you know what?
I got
For the quote expert journalists to make a prediction, it's like, okay.
No,
if I'm right, it's like,
oh,
okay,
well, you
yeah.
knew.
And if you're wrong, then it's like, well, he's an idiot.
Right.
Okay. So either way, it means nothing.
Right.
But for you, because the premise of the show is the veteran journalist and the casual fan.
This is my shine time.
The Wisconsin Badgers, undefeated.
You ready for it? You ready for it?
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
You ready for it? Buckeyes all day. Buckeyes all day, because they be bucking the system.
What's the score for Ohio State to win the game?
Well, since I kind of did a foul on the other one, I've recouped. And what I'm going to say for you right now is Ohio State Buckeyes is going to win by 2 points. 24-26.
26-24. You always want to put the higher score ahead.
Oh, what? You know
But
what?
I get it. So Ohio State wins 26-24.
26-24. And see, I do things new around here. You know, it's the casual novice way of doing the score. Cause see,
that's that new math.
Right,
so you're putting,
right.
The winner has the least amount of points in your version of the new math.
I guess my new math don't work.
You know who knows new and old math? It's Jason Galloway of the Wisconsin State Journal. He's the beat writer for Wisconsin. So glad we get to check in with him.
And so glad he gets to school me for a little bit.
Right. He's going to be live from Press Row in Indianapolis to cover the game. Check it out. Hey, Jason, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of Married to the Game and our Big Ten Championship Game preview segment.
Oh, no problem. Anytime.
Well, we'll go ahead and get started. First and 10. The Badgers, they're a solid, undefeated team, but only 2 wins over ranked schools. And there's a lot of debate going back and forth about that. Make a case for the Badgers to be in the playoff committee to put them in the top 4.
Well, I think there is something to be said about the fact that they are still undefeated, and the fact that you look at kind of their season so far, and they have had some ugly games, and you mentioned their schedule is pretty soft, but they haven't had a single game where they've really been in danger of losing. Not only have they been 12-0 to this point, but pretty much in all 12 games, at the end, there's just not even a danger that they're going to lose. I guess the one game you could point to where that was maybe a little bit not the case was the Purdue game in October.
Okay.
That finished 17-9. But you never really thought they were going to lose that game, and I think there's something to be said for that. They don't have quite the quality wins, but I think heading into this last week, if they are able to beat Ohio State, which if they don't win this game, I think this is kind of a moot discussion. But if they do, you suddenly have that win over a top 10 Ohio State team, and the resume looks a lot better at that point. And then they're sitting there as the only Power 5 team who is still undefeated, coming off a win against a top 10 Ohio State team. So I think if they win this week, I think it'll probably prove a lot. I think it'll probably ease a lot of doubt people have whether they deserve to get in or not.
And you alluded to the fact about Wisconsin winning games easily throughout the year. The defense has been amazing. They're giving up 12 points a game this year. Talk about the superior play on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it's been incredible. They're on their third defensive coordinator in 3 years, and Jim Leonard has come in, and he's only in his second year as a coach at all. He spent 10 years in the NFL, took a year off, and then last year he was hired as their defensive backs coach and took over as defensive coordinator this year. And he's doing a really good job. And you look at some of the questions they were going to have defensively. I think one of the big things was whether they would be able to get the same kind of pass rush they did last year with T.J. Watt and Vince Beagle at outside linebacker. Those two guys were both drafted to the NFL, and Watt was a first round pick, and they've done a great job replacing those guys. Garrett Dooley and Leon Jacobs have stepped in and done a really good job, and I think that they've been able to not only get maybe even more pressure than they did last year on the quarterback, but a lot of times they've been able to do it with a 4-man rush. And I think Leonard has done a good job of kind of picking his spots of when to blitz, and I think he's done some things to free those outside linebackers up and only rush 4 guys a lot of times and still get home on the quarterback.
Now, Ohio State and Wisconsin, they both played Iowa. The Badgers won handily. The Buckeyes, however, got blown out. So aside from the score, what other differences do you see between that game?
I think a lot of it is, that's a good question. I mean, I think when you look at the Ohio State Iowa game. I think a lot of it was just Ohio State just flat out laid an egg. I mean, JT Barrett threw, I think, 4 interceptions, and their defense just wasn't on that day. And I don't really know what happened to the Buckeyes. When you look at their team, they've played 2 really bad games this year against Oklahoma and Iowa, and then the other 10 have been they've looked like one of the better teams in the country in the other 10 games. And so it's kind of puzzling how why they went out there right after beating Penn State and right before they blew out Michigan State and completely just got blown out by Iowa. It really doesn't make sense. But I think Wisconsin was just able to shut that offense down. It looked like a completely different. I think Nate Stanley, Iowa's quarterback, threw. If I'm not mistaken, he threw 4 touchdowns against Ohio State. And Wisconsin just, 66 total yards is what Wisconsin gave up against Iowa. And they harassed Stanley all day, and Iowa couldn't get anything going in the run game. And it's hard to explain why there's such a difference in those games. I think maybe it's more of just an aberration on Ohio State's part that really killed their college football playoff chances. Now, they're still in it if they beat Wisconsin and they get help from a couple of teams. But you look back at that game, that's one I think they're really going to look back and regret.
And you kind of mentioned it a little bit leading into my next question. If Ohio State beats Wisconsin, do they have a favorable shot of making the playoffs? I hear a lot of people saying pros and cons against it. You're right there in Big Ten country. You got your pulse on the conference. I'd like to get your thoughts on that issue.
I think it's going to be a difficult thing. I think a lot of it may depend on where the committee ranks Alabama. Obviously Alabama's going to have 1 loss and they don't play next week, or they'll play this week.
That's right.
In the SWAC Championship Game. So would a 2-loss Ohio State, who just beat Wisconsin, but also has that Iowa loss and 2 losses on the year, would they jump ahead of Alabama? I'm not sure that they would, and that's probably one of the biggest questions for Ohio State is whether they would jump over a 1-loss Alabama team.
It's a lot of jockeying and puzzling scenarios and what ifs. I'll get you out of here on this one. You cover the Badgers all year long. But what's your prediction and a final score for this game?
And, I've been going back and forth on this. I think if I was picking against the spread, I would definitely take Wisconsin to cover. I think the last time I saw it was Ohio State by 6.5, and that seems a little high to me.
That is high.
Yeah, it just seems more of a sort of a 3-point game to me. I think right now I'll go ahead and take Wisconsin to win. To pull it off and win 27-24, but I could change my mind by the end of the week. So who knows? I could change my mind 10 times before the end of the week.
So what you're saying is, don't put the deed to the house up on that 27-24 final.
I'm saying, stay away from my prediction. Is what I'm saying.
Well, Jason, thank you so much for the insight and joining us on Married to the Game. Hey, man, give out your social media info so people can stay abreast of what's going on. You got your pulse on the Badgers football program.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Jason_Galloway and go to Madison.com for all of our Wisconsin football coverage.
All right. Thanks, Jason.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Before we go any further, I got to give it to you for hanging in there because we're halfway home.
Mm-hmm.
We're well over the halfway mark for the Power 5 conferences. We did 3 in the books, 2 left. But we still got the SWAC, so we still got 3 more things to go. But you hanging in there.
I'm hanging in there. Because I know that entertainment stuff is just.
Well, we've been
that's what I'm saying,
in.
and I know it's in there, so that's what keeps me going.
Now, the Big 12 conference, Oklahoma Sooners versus Texas Christian University (TCU), squaring off in Big D, Dallas, Texas, Jerry World. AT&T Stadium. Now, it's been a while since the conference championship game has been played, so really good to have it back on the calendar again.
You talking about the Big 12?
The Big 12 conference championship. They did away with it for a little while.
Wow,
but
really?
They brought it back good, and it needs to stay.
Okay.
Oklahoma, the Sooners, 11-1 record, 8-1 in the Big 12. They have the Heisman Trophy frontrunner, quarterback Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Now, Baker Mayfield, you know what? You like underdogs.
I like underdogs.
Now, he wasn't a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. He was a walk-on, which means he had to earn his scholarship.
So he did.
So he plays with it. He plays with that aggression.
That's that heart play
and a chip
right
on
there.
his shoulder. The last game of the regular season, he didn't start because the game before against Kansas, he had a little hiccup where he let his emotions get the best of him.
You're making it difficult.
And he was grabbing his crotch and yelling out obscenities. But it started from the pregame coin toss. You're supposed to shake hands. The other team didn't. He reached his hand out. They didn't shake hands.
Are you serious?
So he said, okay. And he lit them up. And then he's yelling profanity at them.
Because he was pissed. But you can't let your emotions get to you like that.
But he's back.
But he's doing it. He's doing it.
TCU, the Horned Frogs, got a good team. Now, they already lost to Oklahoma. So this is a rematch, another rematch, just like how...
So they coming with a vengeance.
Just how like Georgia-Auburn was a rematch. And Auburn smashed off Georgia, so Georgia wants to get its revenge. And you picked the Bulldogs to get their revenge. This is another revenge game.
Yeah.
Who you got in this one?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, though. For real. As soon as
you lived in Texas.
Yeah, but that I'm not going to be honest, it wasn't even in fact me living in Texas. When you said Texas Christian University
out of Fort Worth.
I wasn't gonna go against Jesus. But when you told me about my underdog, Baker Mayfield, you already know. Oklahoma, no doubt. I gotta go with them. Just for him. You see what I'm saying?
Smart choice.
So I know it's a smart choice because I'm the casual fan. Casual fans be knowing these things. Listen up. So, can I do my prediction like now? Because you know I'm already geared up.
Go ahead and get it in because we already know the entertainment. Dallas itself is an entertaining city. I've never been to Dallas, but from hearsay, and I'm going to take people's word for it because everything's bigger in Texas. I've been to Houston. Dallas is going to be on point.
It's going to be lit. You're going to get me all hyped up. Let me go on back to my predictions for my old boy. Okay. Baker Mayfield, he going to pull it out. He going to hit him so hard. He going to show him what he got. It's going to be Oklahoma wins by 3 points. And then
that's
the
a close
score.
Game.
They playing, because come on, Jesus going to be up in there too now.
All right.
So it's going to be 27 to 30.
30 to 27, Oklahoma.
I already told you, dog. That new math. That's that new math.
When you're talking of college football in the heartland, it's only fitting, right, that we bring back to Married to the Game Pete Mundo of Heartland College Sports.
We had him in the beginning.
Had him on for the preview of the Big 12.
Right.
So glad to have him on for the Big 12 Conference Championship Game. Pete Mundo, so glad to have you back on the program again. Thank you for joining us on Married to the Game for our Big 12 Championship Game preview.
Rory, anytime, man. Happy to do it.
Now, Oklahoma, TCU is the matchup, and they played each other on November 11th. The Sooners ran up 38 points in the first half, and they won that game 38-20. What's your takeaway from that game?
Takeaway is that Oklahoma's a much better team, Rory. Oklahoma's got the best offensive line in the country. So when you can negate the strength of a team, then all of a sudden you're sitting in a pretty good position. And that's what OU was able to do in that game, and that's what I expect them to be able to do again on Saturday afternoon. Now,
both of these schools lost to Iowa State. Now, that speaks volumes about the program that the Cyclones have. But what, if any, should we take from those results?
Well, Rory, when it comes to that game and those two teams and what Iowa State has done this season, it says more to me about the Cyclones, but I can't take away a lot from those two games because the scenarios were so different. Oklahoma lost at home to an Iowa State team that nobody thought was going to be any good at all. Meantime, that TCU game on the road against Iowa State was just TCU not being able to put together a semblance of an offense that afternoon.
Now, on a national level, quarterback Baker Mayfield, he gets a lot of attention. But from a local perspective, because you're right there in the thick of it, what's something about him that we don't know or that we don't understand?
Well, I just think he's a fantastic competitor, and with the good comes the bad. Baker Mayfield was a former walk-on quarterback at Texas Tech. This is not a guy who was a five-star recruit. This guy's got a chip on his shoulder. He's as competitive as anybody in the sport, and that shows. And sometimes he does some things that are a little bit immature, but the idea that Baker Mayfield is a bad person or a low character individual because of that, has been the most overblown storyline in the entire college football season. I just think it's the furthest thing from